you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you today. We have our beautiful stories of hope today, again, to inspire you into creating and living your best life. And a lot of that happens when we listen to stories of people that have created that life for themselves. My first guest she's actually in England right now. I love that when we get overseas people coming onto the stories of hope to inspire us. Jo is a former ad agency director turned business coach and podcast host who combines her corporate skills in marketing and revenue generation with tools from spiritual wisdom to fulfill her mission of helping driven, overstretched, visionary female coaches listen to their intuition and find their unique message to magnetize soul clients and build business success in alignment with what lights them up. Welcome to the show today, Jo Ingram.
Thank you for having me, Kornelia. It's lovely to be here.
Yes. So something got you started in this field.
Absolutely. I spent 20 years in corporate, in advertising agencies in London, and I did what many of us were kind of trained to do. You know, you graduate from college or university and you get a great job and you follow the career path. But a long time ago, I knew that it really wasn't my calling, but wasn't really sure what to do about that. And it wasn't till, nearly 18 years ago now that I had a bit of an epiphany in my life. I went through a rather dramatic period where I nearly died in childbirth and lost my fertility and went on a journey to complete my family, which culminated 10 years ago in California with my surrogate twins. And through this process, I realized that life was meant for more. You know, many of us go through these dark times that we think, what is it that I want to do? And I know I need more meaning in my life. But it wasn't until last year when the pandemic struck that the universe kind of answered my question. I'd been miracle morning for a few years and trying to work out what I would like to teach because I felt called to coach and teach. But then I was too scared to leave my corporate job. And I know many people feel that fear about jumping off the precipice. But the universe gave me a kick and said no, and laid me off at the beginning of the pandemic. Sadly, you know, as many people experienced. But rather than entertaining a story that this was a tragic thing, I was like, yes, thank you, because I'm now free to kind of find my purpose. And I realized very quickly after becoming a business coach that I had all these skills from corporate, from marketing and revenue generation, as you mentioned, that were directly transferable to the entrepreneurial market. And I threw myself in. And can you imagine what happened? You transpose yourself from this driven corporate environment. Within 3 to 6 months, I was completely burned out. I was in pieces on the kitchen floor going, what have I done? I'm a worse boss to myself than my corporate bosses ever were. I'm in pieces, I'm exhausted. And this led me on a journey into spiritual entrepreneurship. And the idea that many of us driven women who overthink, overprove, overwork, overstrive, pushing this hard energy, there's a different way to build a business. And this revelation led me on a journey for about 6 months where I opened myself to kind of that divine feminine energy, where I say goodbye to that toxic masculinity, the sort of wounded masculine rather, and said there has to be a way to combine not just the action, because I love the action gets things done, but to also allow for the intuition. And as I combined these, I realized that was actually my mission. And cut to today, and now in my Time to Rise program, I actually teach other driven women, often ex-corporate, who have overburned, overpushed, and overstrived, to kind of find that authenticity in their message and bring all of them into their coaching business, so they can actually find that balance and have not only revenue and impact, but actually happiness and feel lit up in what they're doing. And so I suppose that was a real gift for me. And the pandemic, I know, has taken so much from so many. And yet there are gifts, real gifts within it. And, you know, I feel very blessed to have found a gift in my life and that I'm able to share with so many.
Well, this is an extraordinary story. You turned it around. You saw really what it was like, and like you said, I've never heard this before. I was my own worst boss, worse than the corporate boss. That's a powerful indicator right there, that you had to really look at how you talk to yourself, what you expect of yourself, how you treat yourself, and what standards you hold of yourself, how you're pushing yourself in that way, like go, 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 push, 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 you know, that thing. And you turned it around and you realized it within yourself. And now you are helping other women that are in the same program to overcome and, you know, achieve what it is that you've achieved now with your new program. Is that right?
Absolutely. To be honest, when I first started my business, I didn't realize there were so many women just like me out there.
Yeah, yeah,
And, you know, I kind of ignored that part of me. And I was like, well, I'm a business coach and I'll teach, you know, basic business skills, how to build your business online and so forth. And
yeah,
it was only when I actually embraced all the parts of me and my natural inherent tendency to overthink and overprove, and the journey that I'd been on, but also this embracement of the spiritual side of business building. You know, some call it the woo-woo. And I had ignored the fact that I was a certified pranic healer, almost like that was a hobby and it was nothing to do with my business.
yeah,
Because often women like myself, and maybe this is something that resonates with you maybe earlier on in your career, is that fear of judgment. It's like,
yeah,
what happens when you put yourself out there, especially us ex-corporate women? And I thought, if I go out there and start talking about the universe and start talking about how I believe in the law of attraction and I believe in a lot of energy work, people are going to think like, what is this woman on? And it was only when I actually embraced all those parts of myself that I started to resonate. And other women, much like me, started to hear my message, and I got the opportunity to work with them and help them make transformation in their lives, that I realized this is what we all need to do. We all
yeah.
need to just embrace all the parts of ourselves and build businesses that are in alignment with who we are and what we wish to give to the world, not something that's encased in that fear of judgment and perfectionism and all those other things that we get stuck in our heads, right?
Right. And now there's no greater time to do this than now, because you mentioned the pandemic, and the pandemic, you know, has brought a lot of gifts for many people. And as we're moving into 2022, 2023, more people are becoming entrepreneurs themselves. So learning how to do this right out of the gate so that you're not going to end up on the kitchen floor 6 months later or a year later, it's really handy to have somebody else have that walk that path, that's gone through that, and you help women with the program that you've developed now. I also like what you said, soul magnetizing, and the soul magnetizing can only happen when you realize and you've balanced that softer side and the intuitive side and the heart side into the equation along with the action. But both have to be there. And so, and then you can magnetize the right clients to you. And that's what you're doing in your business right now.
Absolutely. I sort of learned quite quickly from my own experience that we try and imitate others who've gone before us, which, you know, is one way of doing it. But it's too easy to get out of alignment and say, oh, I need the next marketing strategy. Teach me Facebook ads, teach me this. And sure, these are great skills to learn. And,
Yeah.
the masculine active side of me is absolutely, we need strategies, but not before we develop our own unique message. Because, the best ad in the world, if you're not authentic and coming across with a message that's going to resonate, then really you're just throwing your money away, and you'll get frustrated and you'll try and work harder, you'll get burned out. And I've learned from my own experience that when you can actually open yourself up to inspiration and allow it to flow through you and speak from the heart, that's when people start to listen, and that magnetism and that resonance happens. Then go on and create actual strategies like ads or organic marketing and so on, and develop those. And I love to be able to fuse those two things, which is, my gift, because I've had those years in marketing and I've learned about the spiritual side and the resonance. That's really, the women that come into my program have suffered the same way that I have. So there's that connection, and that's what I teach. That's what lights me up, is to see other people really resonate with their audiences through their unique message, which you do too. I mean, it's beautiful when it has that magic to it.
Yeah, you're the whole package. You have the whole package, which is great. I want to talk to you too. You would be a perfect influencer in our app, in the KS Media app. I want to let the audience know right now to go download the KS Media app in your app store or in the Play Store. Download it onto your iPhone and create your free account. Get a free ebook and download the app. You would be a perfect influencer within our World's Best Influencer group. So I want to talk to you about that later. But let's send the audience right now and let them know where they can look you up and learn more about your work and about the programs that you're offering here in right now.
Absolutely. You can tune into what I have to say on my podcast, which is called Action Taker Tribe. And you can DM me and join me on Instagram. My handle is IamJo.Ingram.
Good. So you've got a podcast too. Is your podcast available at all the podcast outlets, or
everywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find Action Taker Tribe.
Action Taker Tribe. I love that so much. Good. Okay. Well, we're definitely going to check that out. Jo, it's been an honor and a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for the inspiration and the good work that you're doing in the world, and keep doing it. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Take good care. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Hey, everyone. Come check out this new app I'm featured in. You're going to look for KS Media Group app in the App Store, download it, launch and create your free account, get the free ebook. You're going to find me under directories. Click on resources of the world's best influencers. Find me at the top of the list and take advantage of evolving your daily practice, cultivating deep inner peace, growing in love with my YouTube channels, and all the ways that you can connect with me now on social media and other ways as well. There's also a long list of live podcasts there that are listed under the directories to help you to live your best life now. Go and hurry, get the KS Media app, go to the App Store and download it now. Welcome back to the Stories of Hope. I want to introduce you to our next guest, Paula Vail. She's an author, a Reiki master, TV and radio host, and she's the author of, and she just recently got this global award for her book, the author of Why Am I So Happy? She founded Wellness Inspired in 2008 because she wanted to share the beautiful gift of Reiki and self empowerment with others. Paula says that every day she works to help others live with love and compassion, enabling blessings to manifest in people's lives. Welcome to the show today, Paula.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be on your show. I'm very
Yes.
grateful.
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. We also know that we live in each other's neck of the woods because you're down by Tacoma, right?
Yes, I'm in Tacoma right now. Yep.
Yes. And I'm out here past, Seattle the other way, going more north. So
Love it.
it's wonderful when we live in the same, state, and we meet each other. So, what do you want to inspire the audience with today? We've got a short window, and I know that you came to tell a story. And so, what would you like to share with the audience today?
Well, I was thinking about, so many experiences in my life that I share in my Why Am I So Happy book. And I decided to share something that just what it did for my heart and was just so amazing. I started working in a restaurant during college and fell in love with it, and I managed it for years. The owner assured me he was going to sell it to me when he retired. So that was my dream, my goal. This will be my future. I was told to save a certain amount of money for the down payment, which I did. And it came to the time of the retirement for him. And I walk in the restaurant one day and he said, well, I want 100,000 more for the down payment. And for me, I was, a single mom. My husband had passed, and it was like $1 million to me.
Yes.
So I went to the bank. I didn't even have a credit card. I was a cash or write a check girl. And I went to the bank, and they pretty much laughed me out the door and said, "You want to buy a restaurant, little girl?" And I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. My dreams, my work, my love of the restaurant business.
Wow.
I didn't know what to do, and I just, sat back. I cried. I was like, to the angels, is this what's meant to be? And a couple days later, I had so many customers that I loved. And a couple days later, one of my customers, he was a doctor. Him and his wife were regular customers. They had their favorite booth they would sit in. And we chatted about me buying the restaurant. And he said to me, "So, Paula, when's it going to happen? When you're going to buy the restaurant?" And I must have got this look on my face. And he said, "Paula, tell me what's going on."
Oh.
And I told him. And a few days later, knocking on the kitchen door of the restaurant was his accountant with all the paperwork. And that man co-signed a loan for me to buy my restaurant.
Wow.
I was just their favorite waitress. I mean, and I could tell his accountant thought he was crazy. But and a year later, I got him off the loan. But and our joke was I was going to name a booth after him. What that taught me, no matter what our situation, no matter what happens in our life, things, don't give up. Just don't give up, because you don't know what blessings or what manifestations or what might come. Things can happen in your life that you never dreamed possible. So I just want to say, never give up. Never give up.
That's a gorgeous, beautiful story. I mean, you had the dream, and you didn't know how you were going to manifest the dream. It was $100,000 more than you were told.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the money, that's the other thing. The money came from a different source, not from the bank. So if you are, whatever the dream is, that's what your message is. don't give up because the bank turns you down, or you think it's supposed to come from that direction. What
Yeah.
you're saying is be open to, if it's in alignment and it's meant for you. Because I always say
Yes.
this, what do you think about this? What you want, what you want wants you.
Yes, yes. And sometimes what we want, we can get something completely different coming to us, and we love it more, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful opportunities or gifts can come to us that we don't even expect. It's
Yes.
ah,
So, I mean, the restaurant business is a hard business.
yes, yes.
That was so. I mean, how long did you have the restaurant business, or do you still have
I
it?
was there about 27 years. No,
Wow.
I did sell it, but it was like cutting my arm off. I still at times miss it. My children grew up and worked in the restaurant with me. And when went to buy it, I set them down and said, "This is a family endeavor. We do this together."
Wow.
And I loved it. I adored it. It was hard work and long hours, but I loved it, and we did a lot of fun stuff.
You were the boss. You were the boss. It was your restaurant, and you were the one that was, I mean, 27 years, you might as well say 30 years of
Mhm.
hard work, but it was yours. You could decide what goes on the menu, and
Yeah.
you
And I
know,
went to college. My college degree I was accounting. I was going to be an accountant. I had it all figured out. But I fell in love with the restaurant business.
because you were a waitress. Is that how it happened?
I started out a hostess, then a waitress, then
Yeah.
the manager, and the owner. He would go off for a month or two at a time, and I'd run it. And yeah, and I just we did so many fun things. One time we did a fundraiser, an auction. One of my customers was an auctioneer, and another customer, his daughter was she was like 19 and going blind and needed a surgery, and their health insurance didn't cover it all. So we did a fundraising dinner and auction. It was so fun. We would do wine tasting dinners. We actually was contacted by a film producer, and they came, and one day the restaurant was closed Mondays, and they were there all day to film a couple scenes in a movie. It was just, so many different adventures. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like it was a really wonderful life experience that you had,
Yeah.
that started out with a dream, and then you raised your family there, and so many wonderful things came out of it. I remember one of my favorite jobs was when I was a food server. That was like,
Ah, yeah.
because you can really make people happy. You can bring them,
Yes.
nourishment and food, and you can serve people in a way. I had that feeling too. Of it was a good job. I didn't have the dream of wanting a restaurant, but definitely enjoyed being a food server. So now you're a Reiki master.
Yeah.
You've got a big dream. I know that your dream is to have a Reiki farm and do
Yeah.
work for animals. That's what you've mentioned to me. You're a podcaster. You're a radio host. So you've got your book, Happy Now. The Why Am I So Happy Now? What do you want? How can people get a hold of you, get your book, check out your podcast? That's what we want to let them know
Yeah.
now.
Go to wellnessinspired.com. You can read about my show, Elevating Your Life. You can read about how to get a copy of my book, Why Am I So Happy? Plus, I have co-authored a Reiki training manual. I'm co-author in the book America's Leading Ladies with Oprah Winfrey and others. And you can read all about that. You can email me any questions, and just check out wellnessinspired.com. And my Why Am I So Happy book is on Amazon, and it just received the bronze medal in self-help books by the Global Book Association.
Wow,
I'm still
congratulations.
speechless over that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Congratulations to that. And I just, I just recently had the pleasure of meeting you, and I know you're going to become a founding member within our Cornelia Stephanie Media app. And so that's going to be wonderful. So also, I want to ask you, when because you interview people on your show, are you looking for people to interview? I want to know that. Are you looking for people to interview, and do you want to be interviewed?
Yes, I would say yes to both. I go back and forth. Yesterday, I was just interviewed by an amazing host in New York. I love being interviewed, but I love if I'm always open to the more and more amazing guests. You can email me if you're interested. My show, the theme is, I do a variety from authors to practitioners to doctors, actors, actresses, film producers, musicians, just,
I
in
actually
all walks of life come on my show, and we share information and inspiration, and we're just a team and supporting each other and putting good wisdom and inspiration out there. So yeah, anyone can contact me if they'd be interested in being featured on my show. I have an audience of over 3.5 million, and but I see it as, I've been interviewing people for over 6.5 years now, and I just see it as such a blessing that I'm able to meet and connect with so many amazing people. And
I'm going to send you some people to interview, and I'm going to send you to some people to be interviewed. I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening and tuning in. Stay tuned for The Crooked Climb coming up next. Take care.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.